Minister, I think you will agree that nobody should be homeless, regardless of where you're from. That could be Dublin, Cork, Belfast or Galway. Nobody should be homeless in this day and age. And I think we can all agree that for decades there's been a policy of free market ideology that has normalised homelessness, has put people, on the street or people without shelter. And at this moment in time, there's 14,000 people. Some are Irish, some are not from Ireland, and so forth, in emergency accommodation. And that is a pretty scandalous situation. Over 4,000 children in emergency accommodation. It's quite incredible. And the composition of those that are homeless obviously has changed from individuals to now families. But the treatment of people, and they are people, they're human beings like me and you, last weekend was absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable that people that come to this country that seek support are treated like that. And I'm sure, Minister, you don't support that. I'm sure you don't. You're a decent person, a very decent person. But surely you could not support the way them people were treated last weekend. And the majority of people in Ireland are very, very, very decent people. We understand immigration, and we understand it's quite incredulous that we have empty buildings that are state-owned that people can use. They could be used even in an emergency situation, regardless of where you come from. Surely people deserve some sort of shelter, and yet, this state is not doing that. And you have to ask yourself, why is it not doing that? It is obviously to send a signal to others to say, look, do not come here, because if you do, this is what's going to happen. And Minister, there is other individuals in this state that are trying to pit others against people that are trying to do their best, even around homelessness. And there are people trying to stir up all sorts of kind of divisions and hatred in our own communities in regards to, well, why did they not look after their own? And where I say to people, if I'm out canvassing, if somebody says, why can we not look for their own? But the state has never looked after their own. There's a reason why people are homeless in the first place, because it's a policy, and policy of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, particularly the last 20 years, why people find themselves without a home, without a shelter. And then that kind of stems down to people that just literally have nowhere to go. So, we're talking about the most basic of human rights, the most basic. And if we can't offer people even the basics of shelter, there's something fundamentally wrong with this government.